Okay, so this is some pretty breaking news. You have about 1,500 migrants that have formed a new caravan on Wednesday in southern Mexico, hoping to walk or catch rides to the US border. Now, the migrants are mainly from Central and South America, and some say they are hoping to reach the United States before Donald Trump's inauguration in January, saying they think it might be more difficult after that. So they started out walking from the city of Tapachula near the border with Guatemala, where thousands of migrants are stranded because they do not have permission to cross further into Mexico. Now, one thing you need to realize is that this caravan most likely is not actually going to make it to the United States. Like I had just said before, there are many migrants who are actually getting stopped at the southern Mexico border. This is because the new Mexican president is sort of creating a no caravan policy and is trying to work with Donald Trump and the US to try and stop all of the migrants from coming into the United States. Mainly because Donald Trump said straightforward, if Mexico does not stop caravans and does not at least try to control their issues with people coming into their country illegally, there will be many sanctions heading towards the way of Mexico. So it should be no surprise that Mexico now all of a sudden is cooperating and working with the United States as far as reporting these caravans, trying to stop caravans, and stopping the issues down at the southern border. Now, the reality is, if Mexican officials do not stop this caravan, there are other obstacles. There is no safety in numbers. However, against threats, extortion, or abduction by drug cartels in Mexico, which have become heavily involved in migrant trafficking. The cartels charge migrants on their smuggling or permission to cross their territories along the border. In addition, the gangs often kidnap migrants, hold them in terrible conditions, or torture them until they call relatives to send them money for their release. So again, this is no joke. Those migrants, again, most likely will probably not make it to the United States because Mexico is trying to crack down on caravans, but also this is how the cartel makes a ton of money for easy work. Just kidnap like 4 of them and you make some money. It's horrible to say, but this is the reality of the situation. Now, one thing I want to point out is that Joe Biden is still the president of the United States. And again, Donald Trump has really made everything super transparent, has been pointing out all of the issues at the border. Now, I want to make my point clear. I do not think this caravan is really going to make it to the border with all of these numbers, maybe like hundreds, not thousands, but it'll be a true test with the Biden administration whether or not they will be able to de-escalate the situation as well. I'm sure they are keeping tabs on all of this, but there's a lot at stake here, not only for Mexico and the United States. If this caravan does get squashed and everything does slow down, this will mean that Mexico and the United States, they are actually coming together to work with this. Not to treat those migrants like they are second-class citizens or third-class citizens because they are human beings, but to try and make sure nobody else is coming into the United States illegally. So once again, this is also a big test for Joe Biden's administration as he's trying to get out of the presidency.
Breaking last-minute information coming in from south border of Tapachula, Chiapas. Another caravan just left the south border. The quantity is around 1,500 migrants that they left the south border of Tapachula, Chiapas in direction to the United States of America. As migrants know that in the 20th of January of 2025, Donald Trump will become the next president of the United States of America. They are trying to make a run for it before Joe Biden leaves the administration of presidency. As migrants continue to walk on the south border in Mexico, as they know that entering the new administration, the possibilities for them to continue and to stay in the United States of America are slim, and that the mass deportation will start as soon as the next administration comes into office. This is the collateral damage of the Biden-Harris-Mayorkas administration and the bad policies that they had implemented under 4 years of this total catastrophe and chaos in a crisis that has continued and continued and continued.